And welcome back to Captain Reviews. This is number 15, and in this video I'm going to review the next 5 creations posted to my Discord. And so the first build here is going to be the BF-110 F4 Romanian Night Fighter, 2 bombs. So let's go through some of the picks. So it looks nice. Alright. So let's go ahead, and it's created by Secret176. BF-110F4 was used by the Royal Romanian Air Force in World War II. It was a night fighter because it had a radar on it. In Stormworks, this vehicle can be described in 2 ways: extreme reliability and supreme attention to detail. This is the most detailed vehicle I've ever made, and it took 10 hours just for the camouflage and details, another 10 hours for testing, and 2 hours for final adjustments. A project that took 22 hours in 1 week interval. This is one of the best cast World War II planes you can find. It has a max speed of 400 kilometers an hour, 1,700 liters of fuel, with a time of over 25 minutes of operational time depending on throttle, and literally can fall in the ocean and take off from it. Made specially for 1st December Romanian National Day. 1-to-1 recreation, 1 crew compatible. There's the real aircraft. Won't go through all the stats here, but you can read those up if you like. On the armament. And I will go through the manual as I review it. Alright, so here we are with the aircraft, so let's go ahead and take a look. So my understanding in real life, these are all antennas, what the pipes are. A lot of nice, paintable paint blocks here, as you can see, rivets and paneling. That's really cool. I like that. As it said in the description, it took a long time to do. Kind of has brake rotor covers on it. Nice paint job on there. A lot of good detailing. I like all the paneling and the rivets. Good attention to detail there. What is that? VHF? I can't remember if those are VHF antennas, the ones that were the cables for antennas. I'm trying to get up on the wing here. A lot more riveting up here. That's exhaust stain from the exhaust. Really cool detailing there. Can I open the... Probably need some power for that. A little overly bright, just the lights here, because it's a light color. So a little bit of a bloom there, so I won't stand on top for too much. I don't know if that's a UHF antenna, but that's a simulating antenna. Can never recall which ones were which. All right, very cool here. So let's go ahead and let's board and start going. All right. And let's see if I can't find the canopy. I just saw it. Where are you? There we are. All right, so a couple hidden there. Definitely some XML on this. So 3 seats. Have a back gunner here. This is interesting here. Does this go up? That's interesting that these are vertical. I wonder if that goes up. I do not understand what the words say. Ooh. So WS, I assume that it comes up at some point, but I'm not sure. So let's see. Let's jump in here. Let's go through the manual. Wow, that's a full H menu there. Roll, pitch, yaw, collective. So that's appears to be propeller pitch, which the game calls collective. Which I get why they do that, but propeller pitch. Mouse aim. 2 is drop main bomb. 3 is drop 250s. 4 is taxiing landing gear. I don't know what that means. 30% throttle max takeoff throttle. 5 is flaps. 6 dive bomb sight. The closer the line is to the middle, the more accurate it is. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll go through the takeoff checklist here. So battery comes on. Starter. Counter-rotating props. Turn off brakes. So let's see. Turn off parking brake. Okay. I'm just checking things out so I know what I'm doing. Close the canopy. Alright. It doesn't tell me how to... Alright, so... Apparently I'm having to manually do throttle. Alright, so let me see. Activate taxi gear and flaps. So, taxi gear is 4. Okay. Taxi landing gear. I wonder what that's all about. Probably locks the tail wheel is kind of what I'm thinking. Taxi throttle 0%. Okay. Takeoff throttle 20 to 30, no more. Retract landing gear, deactivate flaps. Okay, so what am I doing with my props? See, it's... Wow, that's a lot of prop, dude. It goes like right to full prop, so that's interesting. So it's really, you know, it's not working as a complex aircraft, but that's not a big deal. Just need to keep that in mind. Alright, it says activate taxi gear and flaps. I need to find flaps. Let me taxi here. I don't know what my brakes are. I don't see any brakes on there. So it's just kind of looks like pitch on, pitch off for the propellers, which is a little bit strange, but seems to be working all right. I don't know what my brakes are, so I can't really hit much. I need to look for flaps. Taxi lights, heater, cockpit lights, extinguish, landing gear, starter. The flaps come down. I don't see them. I don't see flaps here. Flaps 5. There we go. There's so much in that H menu, it's hard for me to see sometimes. Okay, throttle 20 to 30%. So I kind of have to look over here to do throttle. So it's a little strange to me, you know, being used to operating real aircraft, that, you know, I'm setting my thrust and then I'm like booting it with the propellers, which is a little bit strange. You know, you'd set your prop pitch and then move your throttle, but it takes off nicely. Retract landing gear. You know, as much as some of the XML windows look nice, the issue that I have with them is you get this fogging. So landing gear's up and stowed. You know, you get this fogging, so it pretty much makes it very hard to see outside. So as much as I like the aesthetics that XML can add, XML in the glass here, you just can't see very well, and so it kind of defeats the purpose. Let's get rid of this fog here. Marty can barely see out of the windows, so. All right, let's see. Track landing gear, deactivate flaps. Okay, 5. And taxi gear. All right, taxi gear is 4. All right, HUD is on floor between pilot's leg. It's a key button. Okay, there's my gun sight. So, okay, my artificial horizon, my attitude indicator is way down here, so it's kind of hard for me to tell. I have no clue where my horizon is. Between the fog glass and that, you know, I can't really tell where I'm at there. I would like, you know, ideally that would be cool if that was up here. That's more important to me than, you know, really artificial horizon. Oh, see, I'm going right to the sea. Artificial horizon here and speed here, and then this panel down would be my preference. Put that in the middle, artificial horizon, or even put it right behind the sight. Artificial horizon is most important, and speed are the most important too that I care about. Flies nicely though. You know, so the fog glass makes it very hard to see. So, you know, like I said, you know, it's personal preference, but you know, for me, the XML value of it, like, yeah, it looks cool, but then when you get in, you know, it makes it hard to see, and so it's tough. Like you know, I'm struggling to see there. It's very hard with the sky color and the water color for me to tell, except if I'm looking straight out ahead. So, just a little nitpick there. Let's go down to landing. I'll try to drop some of these bombs too while I'm at it. Dive bomb sight. Okay, 6. Alright, that's dive bomb sight. Alright, let's see. 2 is drop the big bomb, and 3 is drop the 250. So let's see if I can't hit something here. I have no clue where I am because of the fog glass. Okay. I have to kind of look right ahead of me. So I'm going to climb up. And I'm going to try to hit the big hangar here. So we'll do the 2 for the 1,000. We'll try to quickly recover and then drop the 250s on the other one. I'm going to try to do it a kind of an extreme dive. Not extreme dive, but like a direct dive here. Alright, so expect to press 2. There we go. So the line, that's kind of cool. I like that. Let's see how it goes. Nice. So that was pretty good. I'm just going to drop the other ones somewhere here. We'll use that little line. All right, and so those are 3. we go. And there goes a 250. All right, very cool. I like that sight. That sight is cool. Let's go ahead and press 6, get rid of that. We'll go to the other one. Landing flaps. So flaps are 5. All right, landing gear 2. All right, where's landing gear? Landing gear's 4. That's taxi landing gear. So landing gear is over here. That's a little confusing. I don't know what taxi landing gear means. Is that lock tail wheel? You know, I'd rather it say something like lock tail wheel so I know what it's doing. Camera aim 4. I'm not going to aim with the camera. Throttle is still at 20%, and turn collective down. So it seems like it's almost like here, if I do collective down, it pretty much zeroes my prop pitch, which is weird. You know, you set your prop pitch, and then you move your throttle. That's how you do it in real life. Alright, so I'm going to try to see if I can't get a landing. Very hard to see through the fogged glass here. You know, I'm struggling to see through it there. So, once I get straight, I can see a little bit better. But with this fog glass, I turn the fog all the way down, as you can see. You know, fog's all the way down there. And with this foggy glass, because of the XML, it's hard to see peripherally. But once we get straight ahead, it's not too bad. I lose a lot of visibility here, but that's again trying to make it look like a, you know, it's a 1-to-1, so it's hard to get it to be perfect. See right there, you know, I can't really control my throttle. You should be setting your pitch, or this would be my recommendation. It's better to set your pitch with a throttle like this, and then do your the actual thrust of your engines with some seat controls. You want to set your pitch for, you know, you'd want low pitch, high RPM for landing. This is a little bit strange to me. You know, it's gamey, it works, but it's like collective on, off, collective on, off. It's a little bit strange to me. It doesn't really, and I'm struggling to taxi here. A little bit of struggle on taxi. Let's see if I can, okay, so see, like, I have no clue what, okay. So I wonder what taxi gear is. Let's bring up the H menu. Taxi gear 4. So I don't know what... See, I don't know what that's doing. Oh, it's steering the front. That's strange. Yeah, see how it's steering the front? That's a little weird. Okay, so that's what taxi gear is. It steers the front instead of the tail wheel, which is a little bit strange. But it works, I guess. You know, if it works, it works. But that is super duper strange to me. Generally, you'd have the tail wheel would be doing the steering. But I guess it works. Whoa. Like I said, it's hard to control because the, you know, the collective is just almost like on-off. And so that's a little bit tough. But it looks really super cool. It handles pretty well. You know, the only complaints I have is the frosting of the XML glass just makes it super duper hard to see outside. You know, like right here, I lose all this visibility here. You know, I'm not a huge fan of clipping, so it's very cool. It's just these are like some personal preferences for me. I don't like the fogging. That's usually why I don't use XML glasses. You know, as much as you can make it look better. You know, it looks better in a screenshot like this, but then you get in here and it's hard to see out the windows, and you have things cutting through, and it kind of, the immersion that the extra, you know, realism of it is good. But then, you know, you lose that immersion when you get in there and you can't really see out very well. But it functions really cool. It flies well. I like the bombs. The sight was accurate. So, really cool build. Thanks for posting it. Right, and so the next build is the English Electric Type 3 Class 37/0, number 37025, Inverness TMD. So, looks really cool. I always like this kind of rounded locomotive shape. I like that it's double-sided. That's really cool. So some cool pictures here. I always like to see the real ones. That's always nice to see. It kind of sees where you've deviated, where you've stayed the same. Like really cool detailing like here. So like, you know, without reference material, you know, which I might start doing in some of mine, put a reference photo. It's really cool to see, you know, like you got these details spot on, and so that really kind of shows me, you know, how much of the detailing you got really well done. Like even this little bump out here, You've got that on there, so that's super cool. I like that a lot. That's a good idea to include that. It's by Master Dynamo. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to go through. The Class 37 is probably the most famous British diesel locomotive, nicknamed tractors for their characteristically agricultural English electric 12 CSVT 4-stroke V12 diesel engines. There was no prototype. The first Class 37 was built, delivered, and entered service in 1960, and amazingly, the class is still in revenue service today. This locomotive is a replica of a very particular locomotive number 37025 Inverness TMD, a heritage locomotive which today runs excursions in Scotland. Started life as D6725, released on 31 August 61 from the English Electric Vulcan Foundry. It was allocated to Stratford the same day and was in service under that number until 1974. When it was renumbered 37025 in 2011, it broke down and would not move again until the completion of restoration work in 2015. Ever since, it has served as a heritage locomotive. 37025 is unique in that it is an original Class 37, and unlike many 37-0s which were rebuilt as 37-4s, 37025 configuration remains original. All right, operation. So let's see. There is a great deal of fidelity in this locomotive. Both cabs are fully functional, but for a few things which cannot be included due to game limitations, example AWS. All of this to say, this locomotive is difficult to operate. That said, here follows the startup procedure. Note that the number 1 cab is the cab closer to the cooling grill on the roof and sides. All right, so we'll go through this. Let me see if there's any other stuff here. I'll go through that as I go. Here's some acknowledgments, some notes. You guys can read through this procedure as you wish, and I will go ahead and do it as I operate. All right, so let's go ahead, and one of the first things I want to do here is find that number 1. So it says closer to the cooling grills on the roof and sides. So here are the cooling grills, it looks like. I think. Let me double check the roof as well. Okay, yep. So cooling grills right there. So this would be the number 1 right here. So let's do a walk around. So very cool detailing. As we saw in the reference photos, I really like all this detailing for like louvers and everything else. Really cool detailing on that. We saw that on the reference material. That was spot on. Things like this for the bump outs. Really cool work here on the on kind of the shaping of those lights there. Very cool. Nice work on the on all the undercarriage stuff there. The tanks look really cool. Nice detailing there. All right, very cool. What's this here? Handle there. All right. How does one get into such a thing? That's a door. All right, let's see. I'm just going to no clip up in there. Okay. Let's see here. Number 1 cab. In the number 1 cab, cut in the battery back wall. Number 1 cab. Okay. Cut in the battery. Battery isolation, so I assume that's turn on. I'm just looking around, make sure I hit the right thing. All right, hoping that's it. In the cab you wish to drive from, flip the master switch instrument panel above reverser lever. Okay, master above the reverser lever. So we're looking for a lever here. Where are you at there? Master, engine stop. Master key. So is this the reverser lever? I'm not sure. Okay, master key. All right, ensure the reverser is set fully back. All right, what is that? I'm trying to see what the, oh, okay, it's turned sideways, so that's why I couldn't see it. So that's good. Okay, yeah, it was turned sideways, so I couldn't tell that that was a throttle. Ensure the reverser is set fully back to avoid undesired power from the traction motors, then press and hold the engine start button until the engine fires up. That's engine stop, engine start. Okay, master power is on. Battery is connected. I have no power so far. So something else is up. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. All right, let's read again. Number 1 cab, cut in the battery. Back wall, number 1 cab. Okay. So I'm not sure what cut in the battery means. Does that mean turn on the battery? Battery isolate / run. Okay, that is on. Master key. That looks like the door for the front. It is. Okay, so that's not what I want. All right, so master key is on. I still have no power. All right, let's go in the, what's this? Lightning, route, indicator, tails, instruments, headlight, cab lights. All right, so I'm following the instructions, just trying to figure out what, I'm stuck here. I can't get in this door. Okay, so this just goes back to the engine. Kind of look at some of these things as I go. Access door for maintenance or whatnot. Here's the other cab here. Oh, come on. Stuck behind this door. There we go. All right, let's see. Control cutout, fire alarm test, exhaust, brake selector. Just looking through. Just kind of want to see both sides anyway. All right, let's go back to the other cab, and let's see if we can't figure this out here. It's very hard to get through that door, but that's a game limitation. You know, you want to make something scaled correctly. It's hard with the game, so I understand that's a game limitation, but can't get through these doors. I have to kind of jump to the seats, which isn't a big deal. It's just kind of a game thing. All right, so I'm a little bit confused here. That said, here follows the startup procedure. Note that number 1 cab is the cab close to the cooling grill on the roof and sides. All right, cooling grill, roof, and sides. Okay, there's the cooling grills. All right, so we're in the number 1 cab in theory. You know what? One thing that would be helpful is if you put number 1 driver seat, number 1 secondman seat, and then you could put number 2 there. That would be an easy way to easily differentiate between the two of them. Also, you know, you could put another one of these badges up front that just say number 1 cab. You know, that would help as well. All right, so next, in number 1 cab, cut in the battery. So does that mean turn on the switch? I assume it does, but okay, so battery isolate / run is on. Okay, let me check it. Electricity. We have plenty of electricity there. Are we getting electricity to this panel? No. Okay, so I'm quite confused here why I have 0 electricity. So, you know, I'm reading the instructions. Let me click that. I doubt that does what I want because it's not what's written, but I'm pressing the key and I'm not getting any power. And it says, in the number 1 cab, cut in the battery, back wall, number 1 cab. Okay, that's where I am. All right, so I am in here and I can't make that work. No power. All right, trying to see where I should go from here. I'm just going to kick on infinite electricity. You know, I've given it... Wow. Okay. Is there any way I can stop that horn noise? Okay, how do I stop the horn noise here? Alright, I can't listen to the horn noise the whole time. It's not going to happen. Alright. Getting frustrated a little bit here. I'm following the instructions to the best of my ability here, and... Alright. Alright, let's look at it. So again, it could be something I'm doing, but I'm literally have the instructions open. I'm reading them. You can see right here, in number 1 cab, cut in battery. I don't know what cut in battery means. I assume turn on. And that was this key switch that said battery run, back wall, the number 1 cab. Again, all you would have to do is number the seats. You know, if you put number 1, you know, you put number 1 on the seats, then I know I'm in the number 1 cab. And then I'm pretty sure I'm in there anyways, because when I went to the number 2 cab, it had the circuit breakers on the back wall. Flip the master switch. I did that above the reverser, did it, and I still have no power. So, as you can see, I am following the instructions as put in there. I'm going to quickly check electricity, see what is up. So, is this the thing that I was touching? Yes. Battery isolation, default state off. Good. Electricity, what do you go to? You go to, okay, there, and let's see what the switching goes to. Relay, electric relay. It is thick with information, so it's kind of tough for me to find things here. All right, electric relay right here. It's this front relay. Let's see, electricity. Okay, so that goes, what do you go to? Batteries, and then you go out to the generator, repowers the system. That goes down to another relay. What does this go to? Goes to pumps. Okay, so I'm not going through all this electricity here to find it. Let's try to run it from the back seat and see if, or the number 2 seat, and I'll see if I can make it work here. Again, you can see I'm following the instructions here, so trying to get it running. All right, so in the number 2 cab, close the 2 circuit breakers, engine start and control on the back wall. So, all right, engine start and control. Okay. Back wall, number 2 cab. Okay, flip the master switch instrument panel. Do I have power? No. Okay. If I can't get it started without the horn going off constantly, I'm going to have to call it quits on that. But I'm literally, dude, following the instructions here. You can see here, again, in number 2 cab, close the 2 circuit breakers, engine start, and control, back wall, number 2 cab. That's those 2 switches I just pressed right there. I flipped the master switch, unless I'm not flipping the right master switch that says master switch. Master key, again, see, this is one of the issues I have with some of these instructions too. If you're going to call it master switch, make sure it says master switch, not master key. If you want it to be called master key, make sure the instructions say master key. I know it sounds a little pedantic, but it's important so that I know if I'm hitting the right thing. All right, that's, I don't know what that is. Let's see. I don't want to give up on this, but I can't, I can't just keep doing it either. What's this one do? Engine maintenance mode. No, we're not going to do that. Compressors. Yeah, I don't want to press things. These, as somebody who builds really complex stuff, I don't want to ever touch a button that I'm not told to touch. That was something that is very much ingrained in me from flying. If you don't know what something does and it's not the proper time to touch it, you shouldn't be touching it. And so again, it says master switch. It's labeled master key. I hope that's what it is. Do we have any electricity, battery? I don't know, man. All right, I'm going to kick on infinite electricity. If the horn goes off constantly, yep, it does. Engine stopped. All right. Kill the sounds on that. I'm not listening to that the whole time. All right, so I'm getting a little frustrated with this. I'm following the instructions, and I'm not really figuring out what's supposed to be going here. All right, so engine is now on. I shut the sounds off because the horn's going off constantly. Reverser has 4 positions: engine only, 0, reverse 0 to 1, neutral 1 to 2, and forward 2 to 3. Set the reverser for the direction you want to move in. Okay. So let's see, reverse 0 to 1, neutral, and forwards 2 to 3. So I'm at 2 to 3. Okay. All right, the throttle is WS axis. Refer to the throttle readout on the panel to see your current throttle value. Be gentle. If you draw more than 300 amps, the generator will automatically cut itself out to prevent overload. Okay. So WS, where is that? All right. All right. The throttle is WS. Okay, here's the throttle. So I couldn't tell where that was yet. Wow, it's fast. All right. Independent. Okay, let me see. I'm just keep reading. Independent brake is the up-down axis. Okay, so independent brake, as you can see. All right, cool. Is the up-down axis. Refer to independent brake readout in the brake cylinder. Okay, we saw that. For your current loco brake setup. All right, congratulations, you're up and running. It's powerful and can pull quite well, being a Coco, but because it is British, it has no compatibility with any existing rolling stock. I'll see about including some in the future release, but for now, sit tight. British rolling stock is coming soon. Couple words of warning. When you turn off a master switch, the controls reset to 0. Don't switch cabs on a slope. Handbrake coming soon. If you turn both master switches on the control will lock out. Don't do this. Okay. All right, so, you know, the issues I have with this, so like again, if I turn sounds back on, the horn is stuck on, you know, I'm struggling to, I can't run it without infinite electricity. You know, it is very quite possibly something I did, but as you guys saw, I followed the instructions. So, I would recommend you know, I don't even know if I'm in cab 1 or 2. I think I'm in 2, not 100% sure. Here, let me bring it back to Workbench. So what I would recommend doing is some really simple, easy things to help cut down the confusion. Now, when you build something, especially you build something complex, I do this all the time, it seems very obvious to you, especially when I'm building airplanes. You know, I was an airline pilot. It's very easy for me to do all this airplane stuff. The terminology comes very easily to me. And so something that is obvious to me is not obvious to somebody else. It was one of the big things you had to learn as a flight instructor was, you know, you have to learn how to teach the things that come obviously to you to somebody else. And so for you, you built this. So you're very intimately knowledgeable about how this works. I'm not. And so, you know, if you're going to have somebody else operate it, it's helpful to do some things to help. So for example, driver seat, I would put driver seat, cab 1. That's a very easy way for you to tell if it's cab 1 or cab 2. Let me make sure that's the terminology used. Yep. Number 1 cab, number 2 cab. All right, so what I would do that. Put cab 1 on the seat. Put cab 1 on this seat. And then go over here to cab 2 and put cab 2 on there. That would be my recommendation. By doing that, it makes it super duper simple for people to know that, hey, I'm in cab 1, I'm in cab 2. And now you put it on them. You know, okay, so this says master key. I'm hoping this is what I'm supposed to be pressing. It says, in the cab you wish to drive from, flip the master switch. Okay. If you're going to call it master switch in the instructions, call it master switch here. That way there's no ambiguity, and I know I'm pressing the right thing. All right. You saw that I think I did everything right, but I'm not sure. And so, you know, I had put on infinite electricity, and then the horn was going off the whole time. So, you know, that's one reason why I showed everybody that, you know, I'm going through the instructions as they're written. You know, I always feel bad when I can't get something up and running, but it's like, you know, I can't spend, you know, an hour on it. I'm doing the best I can. You saw that I was following the instructions. So I'd love to see, you know, how you're supposed to run this. It's super cool. I love the detailing. The detailing's great. This looks very realistic to me. I love the design of it. I love the look of it. Great work on that. It seems powerful, like it can haul some good rolling stock eventually if you make the rolling stock, like you said. Really cool detailing in here. You know, you've got it spot on. You know, I loved on the workshop page the picture of the real locomotive. The story was really good and engaging. Made me interested in it. I like all the detailing in here. The only issues I had was, you know, again, I think I'm following the instructions to the letter and I can't get it to work. I'm not really annoyed that I can't get around these doors, you know, and they're clipping a little bit. That's just, you know, you're trying to make a 1-to-1 scale model in the game, and it's difficult because the game isn't conducive to that. You know, in real life, you could squeeze your narrow butt back here and open the door and slide through, and the door wouldn't be 1/4 of a meter wide. So I get all that. I have no issue with that, but really cool detailing in there. I would recommend, so for example, like if this is battery isolation run, let's go back to your instructions here. If we go down here, it says in number 1 cab, which again, I wasn't 100% sure, pretty sure, but the easiest way to do that is number the seats. So in number 1 cab, put in parentheses, seats are numbered. Okay. That way right there, somebody can they jump in the number 2 cab, they jump in the seat, they say, oh, I'm in the number 2 cab, they go to the number 1 cab if they want to operate from there. You know, that's an easy way to let people know exactly what you're talking about. It says cut in battery. I don't know what cut in battery means. All right. You know, if I assume it means turn on that switch, it says cut in battery, back wall, number 1 cab. Okay. So this was the one I was doing. It says battery isolation run. You know, instead of saying cut in battery, I would say turn battery isolate / run in parentheses. Tell me exactly what it's labeled, and that's good labeling. That's good human factors. If you say in number 1 cab, you know, turn key and then put in parentheses battery isolation / run, it's very easy to know, okay, I hit the right button. And whether or not that actually works and it does what it's supposed to, I don't know. But that, that tells me exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. That was the only thing on the back wall that had anything on battery. So again, it might be my fault, but like you saw, I read through the instructions the best of my ability. I really like it a lot. I hope that it works. It could have been broken on one of the updates. It's been a little while since this was posted. Let me check the post date. So this was posted a little while ago, and so it could have been broken in one of the updates. Let me see if I can find. It was posted November 30th, so a little over a month ago. So the devs could have broken something, or it could have been a version that got broken or whatever. But as you see, I tried, followed the instructions the best I could. It looks great. I hope it works. I hope it's just a little problem that I was having, but I really enjoyed checking it out. Thanks. All right, so this could be the Tokta miner automatically drives. All right, so very cool looking. Nice track miner. Haven't seen much mining equipment, so this is cool to see some mining equipment. This is by Krimwand. A large miner can carry 2,000 ore. The main feature is that it knows the roads between the mine and the foundry and the market. Just choose a route and turn on the autopilot. That's very cool. The speed is above 1,000 kilometers an hour. There's stabilization, which helps not to roll over. Powerful engine for fast ore mining. Can be controlled from the first person and by radio control. So 155,000, mass 14,000. We won't go through all of that. But it's very cool that it can drive on its own. Control, space handbrake, up, down, C position, 1 drill, 2 drop ore, 3 drop ingots, 4 connect ingots, cargo box, 5 spotlights, 6 searchlight. Remote control, 1 is handbrake and 2 is laser. Tips, to drilling, press 1 and turn on handbrake. If it's stuck, press 1 again. You can put ingots, cargo box with laser pointer and remote control. The autopilot looks for the nearest waypoint instead of going to the first one. Use the side ladder. If the drills are working, they can kill. Alrighty. Thanks to 3 people there that are credited. Right, so here we are with the Tokta. So let's go ahead and take a look. Looks very cool. I love these huge builds. They kind of remind me of, not that I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm kind of, I know the direction that has gone, but it kind of reminds me of some of the huge vehicles. There's much better sci-fi, in my opinion, that does some of these huge livable vehicles. So I really like this. This is cool. It kind of reminds me of the movie Moon, the self-miners that were there. Very cool there. Kind of has a Dune vibe, proper sci-fi. I like that a lot, so a little bit of shade as well to go along with that for Star Wars. But let's go ahead and get up on in. So very cool here. There's not too much instruction on getting in and around, so that's kind of cool. It lets me explore. We must keep in mind that the lower the amount of instruction, the harder it is for me to get started, and the greater likelihood that I screw something up. So keep that all in mind. So very cool detailing up here, like the painting on there, laser distance sensors. I assume they have some sort of function with the navigation. Cool diamond plating on here on the floor. I have a pretty good PC anyways, but like even running this, I have 0 issues with all these paint blocks. I like the different levels. That's cool. I don't know what that was. I didn't mean to hit that. I thought it was the door. So here we have the lower controls here. Let's go upstairs. Come in here. Living space up here. I really think this is cool, kind of having a loft living space above. Branding inside there is cool. Light heater. Very cool. So this is a cool, like, livable space. What do we have there? Just fake writing there. Microwave. This is kind of a cool, compact living space. I like this a lot. This looks really good. Bookshelf in there. Nice detailing in here. Really very cool. All right, so let's go down to the operation of it here, and we'll go into the control center. Light, heater again, stabilizer. What's that? Not sure what all that is. Ignition. Okay, it finally stabilized. KPH. Looks like parking brake there. Camera. Ore ingots. Drill standby. Press 1 to activate. All right, we have a map here. So we are currently at Clark Airfield to Cobalt Iron Quarry. Route 1, auto travel. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go in third person. And so originally what I was going to do is put this on a trailer and drag it out there, but I see there might be an issue here with that little shack in the way. Let's go through the H menu too. Up, down, a seat. Slides forward and back. Let's go ahead and let's shut off the auto, and let me control it for a minute here. I think it doesn't... Whoa, it's fast. A little bit faster than probably I like, just a little... Take me out of the immersion a little bit, that it is so fast, but I understand why people want things super fast, because they don't want to spend all day doing stuff. So this is cool. If we look back at the map, we can see the blue line. I assume the blue line is taking us to the route, and then let this auto travel us here. So is it working? Okay, let me see. Okay, so if I'm in the seat, is it stopping? I don't know. Let's see. Throttle. Okay, so I have to set the throttle how fast I want it to go. There. Okay. Okay, if I get in the seat, is it stopping on me? It must be. So I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so we're on the red line now. It's traveling. You know, it's a little bit off, but it's it's definitely a nice feature, and I think the little bit of off that it is no real complaint that you can auto. And so for the people who complain that everything's so far away, this seems like a great build that they could enjoy sitting back and doing nothing, and then in a couple days they'll complain that the game's boring. I know, shade today, but I really like that this does travel on its own. One of the things that I used to love with Farming Sim was there was a great mod, and again, modding support would be nice for this game. There was a great mod in Farming Sim, and it was Follow Me, and they had some other ones too, and the other one was Course Play. And so Follow Me was pretty much what it says is, it allows you to have vehicles follow the leader, and so you can set them up in a line, and then you can drive the lead vehicle, and they'll all follow. And the other one was Course Play, where you could do something kind of like this, where you could lay a course from, say, your fields to where you were selling grain, and the vehicles would self-travel. And so that was very convenient to be able to, make it so that you as one person could play the game as though you're playing multiplayer. And so instead of getting your friends to go sit in a combine for 5 hours who may not like simulator gameplay, you could automate it. And so I really like this feature of this vehicle. That's very cool, and I understand why it's very popular. Is not only does it look great, but having this auto travel feature, I can see take the monotony out for people who are not interested in driving long distances. Even somebody like me who likes realism and simulators, and likes more of the simulator gameplay with my mining gameplay and Stormworks. This is definitely pretty cool that it auto travels. It would be nice if it stayed on the roads, but that's kind of nitpicky, and that's a personal preference. I bet the people who want an auto traveling vehicle really don't care if it stays on the roads. They're not looking for ultra realism, and so certainly very cool. So let's go in here and let's kind of hang in bed as just have it travel for me. And so as you can see, we're getting close to arrival. And so we should be getting there soon. Yeah, I probably would stay on the road if it wasn't going so fast, but certainly nothing wrong with it, just personal preference on that. But very cool. I like this a lot. Nice detailing on these little monitors here. As you can see, ooh, stopped. And it put the throttle back down for me. Auto travel shut off, so very cool. So you can go through the routes here, through the routing, and you can, go and deliver your ore. So very cool. So it's kind of a do it for you. All right, so let's go ahead and let's travel up and do a little bit of mining here. All right, so we have some here. So we're up at the iron ore. And let's go ahead and get right on it. So we'll get right over one of these. I think was there a parking brake? I thought I saw a parking brake. Is there a parking brake? I don't know. Let's go ahead and drill one. Okay, one drill. Okay, so drilling mode appears to be on, but I don't see what's up. So let's see. It is a little bit twitchy, touchy, fast for me. There's an arrow there pointing at the front. Let me go look and see what that does. I can't find easily a handbrake. I'll have to look and see. What's that? Push button. All right, it's front cab entry. All right. Let me see if I can't find. So I press drill. I press 1. You know, let me go through the Steam page really quick again. There's not much in the way of, let's see, space handbrake. Okay, so it is on here. I just missed it. So space handbrake. So let me get right on top and press space. Oh, okay, good. So once you've pressed handbrake, it will lean. So that's very cool. That was just me having to go back and read there. It would be cool if that was on the seat too. I see no reason why you couldn't put handbrake on the seat, on the H menu. That would just make that a little bit easier. You know, luckily I have 3 monitors. It's easy for me to keep it all up. For some people, it's a little bit more challenging. But that's very cool that it leans like it does, and you can kind of see behind the cabin here we have the mineral ducts, which have to duct through. It's very cool. That would crush you. That's a little bit scary. We'll shut the door there. But very cool. So that drills it up. Again, this is definitely, you know, less on the realism scale and more on the, you know, if I just pressed 1 on that, and that allowed me to, you know, it auto brought the drills up, which is cool. So let's press space and 1. You know, this is definitely not on the realism scale. This is more on the sci-fi scale, which I like. Not my personal preference, but again, I think it's super cool. You know, I think of, especially Dune. I'm thinking Dune when I see this, you know, kind of the Harkonnens, mining vehicles, kind of the buggy-looking design. I really like that. I think that's cool. It's just really neat, you know, and so let's kind of see what we have here for other things. So we have connect ingot. I don't know. So that's that ingot container. Okay, so that's that right there. So you can drop that and then fill it. Let's see if I can bring it back up. Oh, nice. So that's cool. That's very cool. Let me see if I get a... I bet I get a monitor or something. Let's do connect ingot. Disconnected. Okay. Do I have a monitor for that? I bet I do. There's just so much control in this. Let me see. 6 searchlight, 1 remotes. I'm just kind of looking through. A little bit of instruction, not a ton, but again, it's pretty, you can figure it out pretty easily. It's not bad for figuring out. Let's go ahead and connect it. Okay, it does show it. So let me do that again so you guys can see it. 2, connect ingot, and then if I press it again, you see it shows me, okay, that's showing me back anyways. You line it up with those 2. So let me drop it. Let me go forward here. I have the parking brake on. Let me go forward. And, okay, so we can see it there. Let's go ahead and press 2, connect. And as you can see, we would want to steer it backwards and keep it between the 2 lasers. And it grabs. So very cool. That's a really neat feature. So you'd put that under the ingot feeder, and that would then give you the ability to pick up your ingot. Drop ore is 3. As you can see, we can drop ore into the barrels, or into the hoppers at the processing facilities. 5 is lights. 6 is searchlight. So very cool. I like this a lot. This is really cool. This is innovative. This is very, you know, this reminds me a lot of Dune and some really cool sci-fi. And it's certainly not on the realism spectrum, which is a little bit more my speed. But I love this type of sci-fi stuff. Sci-fi is my favorite genre, and this definitely gives me that sci-fi feeling. And it's super cool that it auto travels. Again, it's not my bag, but that is a super cool feature, and I definitely can see why it's so popular. All right, so the next build is the HCLI-Trailer 2. This was posted by somebody else. I tend to like people to post their own build because I want to make sure that you want it to be reviewed. So I went ahead and I reached out to Terr-Rawr-Saur and asked if I could review it and if they were cool with it. And Terr-Rawr-Saur got back to me and said, yep, they were happy with it being reviewed. So I tend to like you to prefer to put your own stuff up just because I don't like unsolicited criticism. I don't like to criticize people's builds unless they want them criticized. So that tends to be why I do that. So let's go ahead and look through. So what I did is, because it's a trailer, because it's Sibtat, and I don't use Sibtat, I do TTIS because I think it's better. It's my personal preference on that because I want other features like trolley brake, and I want multifunction lights and stuff like that. Especially I want trolley brake and all that, and I want it to function more realistically. So I didn't have anything to operate it, so I also downloaded this truck. We're not going to be reviewing the truck, but that is what's in the picture. It's also from Terr-Rawr-Saur, and so we'll use that with this trailer. So it is it's a gooseneck trailer, low loader. I know different countries call them different things. But as you can see, you drop the frame and you load it up. I have one of these myself. I have my my LL53 and my LL frame and all those. So it looks really cool. Nice workshop page. Nice branding on there. I see Terr-Rawr-Saur makes a lot of cool trailers. Features Sibtat compatible, MCS compatible running lights, reverse, indicator, trailer brakes, trailer legs. So landing gear. Attachable gooseneck. If you would like to use this in your own creations, please do so. Have fun and credit where you feel is appropriate. All right, so not a lot of instructions. So again, we'll see how well I get along here. And so let's go ahead and jump in. So it's Sibtat. Generally Sibtat, from my recollection of looking at it very minorly, it uses the kingpin. As you can see, brakes are false. That's another reason why I do TTIS, is I want my brakes default on because that's how they are in real life. And so let's see, is there a cable? I don't know if I need a cable. Again, no instructions on whether or not I need a light cord to connect the light cord. So let's go ahead and again, very little to any instructions here. So let me see if I can't get in this tractor and put on the brakes. Again, real life brakes are always on because they're you're shutting them off when you give it air pressure. I won't go into it, but you have service brakes and you have you essentially supply with your red line, and that will shut off the that will shut off your spring brakes. It adds air to the system, opens, moves the S cam, and lets the pads come off. And then you have your service brake, which applies your brakes. Let's see, fluid on, off, closed, manual, closed. Okay, I don't know what this does. Again, no instructions here, so I'm kind of having to just figure it out. Is this something? Is this not? Do not know. So let me see. We have a winch on there, very cool. The detailing is really cool. I like it a lot. I like the brandings, very cool. A lot of cool detailing on here. I've always liked the exposed wheels on these low loaders. Don't know what that does. What do you? Conductor status. Okay. Don't know what that does. And I'm a truck guy, so. Oh, it's probably for the, I bet it's for the, okay, electrical connector. Did I read it right? Okay, it's me reading incorrectly. It's electrical connector. I read conductor probably because I just did a train. But really cool detail. Like you see here, we have some reflectors. Really cool lighting on there with paintable indicators. Nice dualies. I always like to see dualies. Good detailing in here, especially, being a truck guy, I tend to get in here. So nice work on, I like that you use these megaphones for suspension. Looks like these small generators look like they're simulating air ride suspension. So you kind of have a Y suspension in here. If I get out of the friggin' tires. So Y suspension, it tends to have the arm, and then you have on the back of the arm, you have your bag that does your air suspension. Lots of tie downs, reflectors on the sides here. Okay, here are my controls. Again, I forgot you're riding from the right side on this one. So this is a right drive vehicle, so your controls are on the right side. That makes sense. Winch up and down, winch power, winch length, disconnect lower, disconnect trailer. Okay, so that just pretty much drops it right out. Okay, so that, all right. Terminology is a little bit off, but, you know, unless you're a truck driver, you know, you might not know these things. So that's disconnect lower. Okay, so that's disconnecting the bed. All right. And then you have disconnect trailer. So this disconnects the gooseneck or the trailer if it's a single unit. Let me see if I can't get this reconnected. Will you reconnect for me? So anyway, you can disconnect the whole trailer, or you can disconnect the flatbed of the low loader. So very cool. I like it a lot. I'm not gonna transport anything. I'm not you know, testing out the truck, but this, I really like the look of this. It's very cool. It's nice and wide. You know, having made one of these myself, they can be a little bit complex, and so mine's a little bit more complex than this, as is my way. But this is nice and simple, and I think a little bit probably more user-friendly. Let me actually hammer on the tractor a little bit and see if I can't test some stuff out with this, seeing I am a truck guy. Let me turn the sounds back up. All right, infinite electricity is off. Okay, good. So let's see. Let me see. I set the parking brake. Oof, that accelerates fast. One is reverse. Okay. Let me see if I can reconnect this. So one thing I want to see is, let me actually go forward. So one thing that I did on mine was I do a support leg on the gooseneck, because one thing you can get into is if you get moving around, the gooseneck will go sideways, and then you're in trouble trying to reconnect. So that's what I did on mine, which I found to be helpful for realignment. But, you know, I think that might be helpful. Like here, as you can see now, I have to kind of go, you know, see it now, it's kind of crooked, so I can't really fix that. So mine, I put a gooseneck on there, which are a foot. So on mine, so you'll see on some of these in real life, they have a foot that comes down below here, and it sits between your ramps on your tractor, and that lifts up the gooseneck so it doesn't free spin, and that keeps it aligned so you can more easily connect that. So that would be cool to see, something like a foot, which is realistic in how they really do it. Right, so yeah, that's a little bit difficult with the inability to kind of keep that locked, but the nice thing with Stormworks is we are strong enough we can move something like that, but it would be nice to see something like a foot that locks this in position. That's what I have on mine. I found that to be very helpful so it doesn't move, and it's also accurate to real life, but very cool trailer. I love the detailing. Really nice, you know, so people have been really happy with this. It's very popular in the workshop for the ability to especially move mining equipment. It's nice and wide, and works well with all that. So really cool build. I like it a lot. All right, so the next build is the CG-140 Regional Airliner Sawyer Regional. Oh, nice, cool little branded thumbnail there. Let's go through some of the pics. So very cool. It's nice to see some airliners here. Do not know how to say any of that. Sawyer Regional CG-140, short-range airliner with 12 seats, perfect for transport between local airports or trips to the Arctic. Features full authority autopilot with altitude and heading set, automatic AP disconnect when near critical angle of attack, smooth controls, realistic cockpit including physical gear lever, simulated ground effect, that's cool, lavatory and galley, integrated stairs, specs, capacity of 15, 12 passengers, 2 pilots and 1 crew, 2,000 kilometers. So from like FJ Warner to the to Tajan, you could probably almost do 2. So you could probably go mainland Sawyer up to Tajan and back. Max speed 142 knots, best range cruise 120, landing speed 97, stall speed 74. So it's nice to see all the speeds. And we'll go through procedures as we get in there. Not going to get into the autopilot, but it's always nice to see an autopilot and good information. It's neat to have the disconnect for if your angle of attack is too high. Throttle can be controlled up, down on the seats, which is always nice. Gear are operated by the physical lever to the right of the engine dials. Ground effect kicks in around 10 to 12 feet above ground level. Be sure to close the throttles quickly to minimize float. Do not operate flaps above 115 or while maneuvering sharply. Okay, tail strike is at 11.5 degrees. Use caution, don't over rotate. Using excessive cockpit cabin heat may cause overheating in very warm climates. Monitor oil temps when using heat for long periods of time in the desert. All right, so here we are with the aircraft. So I like the size of it. It's a nice size here. 12 passengers, have some XML edited windows. You know, I was kind of harping on XML windows at the first one. You know, nice. I like the XML up front here. Are those even XML'd? Yeah, this one's XML'd here. You know, I'm not a huge fan of XML edited windows. I wish we could get them native in game, but as you can see, you know, I often try to do this as well, using 1x2 wedges. Then you have to put in XML windows. You know, I often find that, you know, unless they're done perfectly, I'm not a huge fan. You can kind of see that takes out the immersion for me. It's not bad, but it's, you know, it's more of a gripe that I wish that they would put in more window options for us and let us do custom windows, please, devs. So we have our door here. Very cool air stairs. I like that a lot. It'd be nice if we could have some actual stair components that we can make air stairs with, but it's nice and low. I like that. High wing is nice. Nice engine design here. Nice detailing. Some good XML work here. Very cool there. What are you? Refueling port? Okay, that's cool. Personally, the key kind of it kills a little immersion for me. If you're going to use something like that, you know, personally, I would like to see, you know, one thing you have on aircraft often are those little tabs. And so I would personally, I would do a panel with a flip switch. That's a little bit less garish than the key, but again, that's all personal preference. XML lights there. So very cool. I like the gear. I like having the high wing is cool. Nice paint job on there. Let's go ahead and and so I'm just jump in. So we have a flight attendant jump seat there, it appears. There's our door. A little bit cramped in here, but it's like any small aircraft. They are cramped. Little galley back here. It's cool. You have. I like your work on the coffee maker. This is cool. I've been trying to think of some ideas for coffee maker. I might have to become inspired by this. I like that. Small generator, rocket fuel, some rocket fuel there, temperature probe. Temperature probe gets used for so much. I use it all the time too. These look really good as coffee mugs. Very cool. But that's a really cool coffee maker, and I like the micro is cool. Can I get in the lab? This is neat how you did this. I like this. You know, that's pretty cool there. A lot of XML work on this. Nice tight lab. It's tight. It's hard to get these tight spaces to look right, and that's really cool. Good work with the lab there, and lock myself in here. So very cool XML work to make this a nice tight space. Again, you know, I hate that we have to use XML windows. I really wish the devs would go in a window pass. I think that would be wildly popular. Custom windows like on Thales mod would be amazing. End of rant, but you know, again, you have to work with what you have, and we just don't have the components we need to make things right. And so it would, you know, it'd be nice to see, since this is a nice small airliner, it would be nice to see some to make it Stormlink compatible with some numbered seats, but somebody could do that on their own if they like. Okay, so kind of still has that tight feel. Let's see, get in here. All right, so let me sit in the captain seat. All right, Battery Master, let's find you. Where are you at there, guy? Battery Master. Okay, there we are. So we've got fuel pressure warnings, lights came up, battery voltage. I like the 6-packs. These are being, looks like they're being ported on a monitor to make smaller, which I certainly understand. And is it going to multifunction? I can't tell. Increase heading. I thought this might be doing multifunction here, but maybe not. Let's see, strobe lights on. You wouldn't turn your strobes on before you turn your engines on. You turn your strobes on at takeoff. So you turn on your beacon, but I'll follow your procedures. Just a lot of people just don't know these things, so yeah, you wouldn't want to be blasting strobes, especially at night. You're going to be killing everybody's eyes. But, you know, that's just an aviation thing a lot of people just don't know. You do beacon on, and then you don't do strobes till you go on the runway, because strobes are incredibly bright. You're supposed to see them from miles away. Fuel pumps coming on. those are a nice logical spot. As you can see, we have fuel pressure, low fuel pressure, and fuel pump. So that's good human factors. This is essentially your fuel area. Makes it nice and easy. So battery master, battery voltage, those are in the same neighborhood. That's nice to see. All your lighting's in the same. Your generators are part of your electrical system, so all your electrical stuff there, that's cool. Engine master is on. Logical spot, easy for me to find. First time I've been in here. Engine starter, logical spot, very easy for me to find. All right, sounds like it's on. Let me turn the volume up a little bit. Oh. Mine's the reason I did that was mine's backwards. This is cool that you have a manual landing gear there. Probably some XML chicanery there as well. All right, let's hope those are up and running. Let's see. RPMs are coming up stabilized, so those look good. Engine 1 generator on. So I should have done that. I should have followed the list a little bit better. But engine 2 master on, starter, generator. So I followed a little bit out of order. We want oil pressure more than 25 psi on both engines. Temp and oil pressure, that's good. And engine fuel pressure more than 40 psi on both. Again, so see how it's easy for me to find things, even though this is the first time I've been in this craft. I already know this is my fuel section. I know that's my electrical section. I know this is my readouts. So it's easy for me to find things, and that's what I like to see. All right, so I have just a startup procedure and an autopilot procedure. It'd be nice to have some more procedures just to know how you want this operated. I don't know what my flaps setting is for takeoff. I don't know what my my power settings are. That would be nice to have a little bit more instruction, but again, not a big deal. Cockpit door lock. Okay, parking brake there, flaps down. So I'm going to go 1 notch of flaps for takeoff, freaks, reversers. Okay, seatbelt sign. Cockpit heat, don't need. That's all autopilot stuff. Okay, landing gear is there. I'm interested in seeing the landing gear. So let's go ahead. Foot brakes 1. Okay, let's release the parking brake. I like up down for the thrust. I would fill out the H menu if I were you. Pressing my foot brakes. Okay, that worked well. I would I'd go ahead and do fill out that H menu. It's always nice to see. You know, I'm already making assumptions like, yep, AD, pitch, yep, yaw, yep, steering, yep. All that works, but it's always nice to have a filled out H menu. It's easy to see it. If you get in an with an issue, you can just, you know, quickly look. But so that startup procedure is all I have for instructions. So I have to go through, kind of figure it out myself. I don't have a rotation speed. I do have a landing speed and a stall speed. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate around 97, which is my landing speed or my approach speed. And that should probably be good. I'm going to go ahead and unlock the reverses on the ground here. Okay. And then I'll bring my thrust back and see if I go into reverse. Yep. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's excessive. Yeah, that's a little excessive for reverse for me. Scares the hell out of me. The distances in Stormworks are so short, I wouldn't... I would tone that down just a hair. You don't really need that much thrust. Literally, everything breaks so quickly in Stormworks. But it is very cool to have reverses. Just a little bit fast for me. Usually they limit the reverses pretty well. I like the 6-pack very much. I use it on all my stuff. All right. So I'm going to have to make up the rest of the procedures on my own. All right, so it's already pre-trimmed, it seems like. Let me press... Nope, it's not pre-trimmed. It might have some... You see the elevators are already up, so that's why I thought it was pre-trimmed. Okay, landing gear. How am I... Okay. All right, there it goes. I'm wondering what that is. What is that? I don't know what that is, but it's very cool. Landing gear, I don't know what that is, but it is cool, whatever it is. So some cool XML chicanery to make that work. I like that. Gear is up, that's nice. A little bit bright on these gauges. Like, if we go to night, is this going to blind me the whole time during the night? Yeah, it's very bright. And I would personally just tone that down a hair, because at night, that's going to kill your night vision. But that's just a personal preference issue there. That's why I tend to make all mine green. It's just a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and let's do a turn here. I'm just going to throw a waypoint on the end of the runway here. So do I have propeller control? I do not know. What do you? Throttle lever, okay. Flaps coming up. Let's see. That's my throttle. There. Yep, that's my throttle there. So I don't know if I do any propeller control. A lot of modern aircraft, they're doing their own propeller. So I'm going to add a little bit of yaw here. As you can see, I'm trying to keep the ball centered. I'm stepping on the ball. Generally, in a twin engine like this, you wouldn't need that. You don't have the torque, P-factor of some of the other issues you get with a single engine propeller. It would be nice if you had a little integrated yaw with your roll, because again, you could fly this with your feet on the floor. You know, I used to fly jets with my feet on the floor. You know, once you get off the runway, you can put your feet on the floor and the yaw damper's on. You don't really need your feet on the rudders. You know, when you're coming in for landing, you'll have them on the rudders, but you're not actually doing any rudder until right at touchdown. So I'm having to give it a little bit of extra yaw. So that would be nice to see just a little bit of integrated yaw in there, just to make it more realistic. But that's, again, if you've never flown an aircraft like this, you don't know what it's like in real life. So I'm just going to trim a little bit here. All right, so again, I'm having to make up my own procedures because they're not all in there. So once we come within the white arc, that's 115. Good work on setting this up. So it looks like you've set this up correctly. I see that a lot with these gauges is people don't set them up correctly. So your white arc is your flap arc. So where you can bring your flaps in to where you can take your flaps out. Your green arc should be your stall. So you're showing a stall of 74. That looks like that's probably right at the bottom of the white arc. That's the green arc. We get our stall just before. That's cool. So that's nice to see that you index the gauge properly. 115 for a flap speed's pretty slow. Let me go ahead and drop the gear here. Gear's coming down. I would have normally dropped the gear first. What is going on here? Okay, just let me do a quick pattern here. I was struggling there to keep it in the air. Let me see if I can quickly. I just want to make sure it's not a me issue. It very well could be a me issue. You know, like I've said before, you know, you're in training for months to fly these things, so, you know, and I'm trying to figure them out super quick, so. I'm just going to do a quick procedure here to get this going. All right, so that's good. Is there anything else I need to do? Gens. All right, I'm going to just try to get out of here. I just want to do a pattern. Yeah, I was, you know, again, I'm moving my throttle like I would in real life, and so that doesn't always work. You know, this would be power levers, but I don't know if this is a simulated turboprop or what, so go ahead and let's get going here. Just going to do kind of a modified takeoff here and spin right around, come back. All right, pause rate gear's coming up. Over 100. See, we quickly go over our flap speed. I would just bring the flap speed up. 115 sounds super low for me for a flap speed. Is that what you said on there? 115 max flap speed? I'm trying to look. Yeah, a flap speed of 115. I don't know any airplane. Like you'd have Cessnas and stuff with that slow of a flap speed, but you know, for example, you know, our flap speed was, what was it? Was it 200? It had to be more than 200 knots on the Embraer. I can't remember what it was on the Embraer, but it was either above 200 or it was around 200 knots. You know, but that's just personal thing. So let's go gear down. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Okay, let me try to keep, let's add a notch of flaps. Make sure I can restabilize this. I'm just going to kick the rudder because I'm not turning very well. So like I have full rudder in right now. Full rudder. And I'm holding pitch, so it seems like it's limiting me with some sort of stability system, maybe, I don't know. But I'm kicking the rudder full, and you see I can't coordinate my turn, so that's just a nitpicky item. I really like it a lot. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be nitpicking, you know. Nitpicking planes especially, you know, that's my area of expertise. So like, yeah, that 115 seems super slow to me for a max flap speed here. All right, so so it says 97 knot approach speed. Let me double check that here. I'm having okay. Yeah, landing speed 97. So does that mean approach speed or where I'm flaring? Generally, all I really care about is my approach speed. So I'm gonna keep it a little bit fast here. I should be able to get right on 97 and not have problems, but I was getting a huge sink rate at 97, so trying to keep it right at 97. So see, like now I'm going to pitch up. Power, 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 power. Okay. It's just a little bit wallowy. I have to just keep that in mind. So it flies nicely. It's just, see, like right now I'm almost banging flap speed, which is, that just seems super low to me. A 115 max flap speed. That seems super low. Like I'm having a pretty good sink rate now. I'm having to pitch a little bit. I'm coming a little fast here. So they warned me of the float. I put it big. Yeah, it sinks like crazy at around 90 knots. Around, you know, 95 knots, 97 knots, it's sinking like crazy. Let's go ahead and press reversers here. Okay, shut the reversers off. So yeah, so it flies well. Yeah, I'd like to see an approach speed. It says 97. I was getting big sink rates if I, you know, sunk below 97. You should be able to at least go a couple knots below the approach speed and not have problems. So I would probably recommend like a 105. Like when I was flying around 105, I was really having, it was flying nicely. I wasn't getting too high of a sink rate. If I got below 105, I could see my sink rate was increasing. So maybe like an approach speed of 105, I felt a little bit more comfortable. But again, you don't have any procedure for that. You know, you didn't give me a landing procedure, so I have to kind of make it up on my own. But and it sinks like a brick when you get below that. So that's why I would recommend you definitely want to be have a safety cushion above when your sink rate gets excessive. So it seemed like around 97 knots. If I got any slower than 97, my sink rate was insanity, and I couldn't recover it. So like a 105 gives you an 8 knot buffer, which is what I would recommend, something like that. But that's just a recommendation, of course. Flaps coming up. Do a modified shutdown procedure. So do Gen 1 and 2 are coming off. Engine 1 and 2 master coming off. Pumps are off. But I really like this plane a lot. Flies well. You know, I'd like to see a little bit more procedures on there. Personally, I like to separate the beacon from the strobes because you're not going to put strobes on in a hangar, especially. You're not going to put strobes on. But I really like it a lot. It looks nice. I really like the detailing on the lav and the galley. That's super cool to me. The lav feels really, the lav feels how it should feel. I like this a lot. This is a really cool plane. So I enjoy that a lot. And a special thanks to Exploit Boss Secret 176, Master Dynamo, Krimwand, Terr-Rawr-Saur, and Jogan for putting up your builds for me to review. I really enjoyed them, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.